We have measured the photoelectric current by varying the intensity. That was the first part of the experiment. And from that, what was our conclusion? Two conclusions we have got. One was photoelectric effect is instantaneous.
Instantaneous.
Photoelectric effect is instantaneous. There is no time lag, no time delay. As soon as light falls on the plate, the photoelectrons are emitted, provided, what was that? Nu
Frequency more than V naught.
frequency of the incident
Threshold
light is
frequency.
more than threshold,
Threshold frequency.
or this lambda is less than
Less.
threshold wavelength. Second part of the same experiment was the number of photoelectrons.
Directly proportional to the intensity.
Number of photoelectrons is directly proportional to intensity of incident light. Intensity of incident radiation. So that was the two conclusion from the first experiment. Second experiment, what we got? From the second experiment, what we got? The saturation current, that is,
Does not depend
number
on
of
frequency.
photoelectrons emitted. Number of photoelectron does not depend on frequency. So, whatever the frequency was there, the saturation current was same. The maximum current was same. That is, whatever number of maximum current means what? Whatever photoelectrons are emitted, all are able to reach the anode. Now, second part of the experiment was there was variation in the photoelectric current when we lower the potential of anode. And from that, what was the conclusion?
Kinetic
All the
energy of
photoelectrons are not having same kinetic energy because some are stopped before, some are stopped afterwards. So second part of this experiment was all photoelectrons are not emitted by same kinetic energy. All are having different kinetic energy. And the third part of the third conclusion of the same experiment was the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectron, this E max, suppose we are writing, or Ke max, this is given by what? E into Bs, or half mV max squared. This is E into Bs. Kinetic energy, different formulas are there. We can find by linear momentum, sometimes it is given. Then P square by 2m will be there. So anyhow, we will find the maximum kinetic energy that will be equal to the charge into stopping potential. That was the conclusion from the second part, second experiment. What was the third one? Third one, what we did?
Frequency was kept constant and intensity of incident light was varied.
Varied. So, in that case, what was our conclusion? Stopping potential does not depend on
Intensity.
When the intensity we are varying, maximum kinetic energy does not change. So maximum kinetic energy of photoelectron does not depend on intensity. Number of photoelectron, how many will be emitted, that will depend on intensity. But with what maximum energy it will be emitted, that does not depend on the intensity. That will simply depend on the frequency. Same as this one. So that will depend only on frequency. When intensity is varied, maximum photoelectron was varied, that is number of photoelectron is directly proportional to intensity. So these are the conclusions what we got from these three experiments. And these conclusions are given in the form of laws of photoelectric effect. I think you have read the laws. These are given in the book. So first law is, that is, it is instantaneous effect. There is no time lag. Second law says photoelectrons are not emitted if frequency of incident light is less than minimum frequency known as threshold frequency. Third law says kinetic energy is directly proportional to the frequency. No? Kinetic energy, what will be emitted, that will depend on the frequency. Yes. And here it will be this kinetic energy of photoelectron will be directly proportional to frequency, or maximum kinetic energy, of course, we can say. Maximum kinetic energy of photoelectron is directly proportional to frequency of incident light. So what are the conclusions? They are given in the form of law. Laws you have learned from the book. Now, how we can explain these laws? So according to wave theory, suppose here it is what is said, when we are decreasing the frequency below threshold frequency, not a single photoelectron is emitted. What does it mean? That particular light is not able to remove the free electrons from the metallic surface. That is not able to give sufficient energy. So these conclusions are given in the form of laws. These laws we can't explain on the basis of wave theory. How is it so? Or why we say like this? According to wave theory, we say intensity is what? Energy, amount of light energy or whatever wave is there, sound energy, light energy striking per unit area, per unit time. So according to this wave theory, this energy of incident light is how much? Intensity into area into time. So according to this theory, what will be, whatever suppose energy is required to emit electron, suppose ionization potential of, means maybe any alkali metal which is very less, maybe 0.5 electron volt. This ionization potential is in, or this work function, or sometime we call, in class 10 we have done, that is the minimum energy required to emit the photoelectrons, that we call work function or threshold energy. So that whatever energy is, suppose if we change the intensity or we change the time, then we should get that much energy. According to wave theory, suppose if we are increasing the intensity, or suppose in 1 second that much energy is not given, then 5 seconds it will take. So whatever the energy is required according to wave theory, we can give that energy either by increasing intensity or by increasing time. But practically, if the frequency is less than threshold frequency, we keep on giving the light for 1 year or 10 years, photoelectrons are not emitted. That means wave theory has failed to explain photoelectric effect. Wave theory is able to explain reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction. All these phenomena are explained by this wave theory. But this particular phenomena, which is shown by the wave, which is shown by the light, ultraviolet light, or there are some material which is showing photoelectric effect with visible light of infrared also sometimes. Materials are there which are showing photoelectric effect by longer wavelength also, by any visible light. But we can't explain this phenomena on the basis of wave theory, because why? Light of particular wavelength is needed. Why wavelength more than that particular wavelength is not able to emit, or why frequency less than that particular threshold frequency is not able to emit. So the other concept came here. That means light is sometimes behaving like wave, and that another concept was given by, in 1900, Max Planck gave the idea of, or a branch of physics only we say, the quantum physics was given. This theory was given in 1900 or 1901. In fact, in December 1900 it came, but published in 1901. So first we will have an idea of this theory, and then we will see how it is explained. So according to this theory, energy of radiation which is coming, the light wave or any radiation what is coming, they are not continuous. They are discrete. So the concept of energy packet was given. Not continuous. So energy wave is not continuous. That is, whatever we want, we can't produce or we can't get. So energy, the radiation is moving in the form of energy packet. In the form of energy packets, known as quanta. Photon. There is difference between photon and photoelectron. Don't be confused. Photon means energy packet, that is quanta, or bag of energy we can say. So waves are not transmitted in continuous order. Whatever everywhere means it is in discrete, like charge. We are producing charge in discrete. That will be in the multiple of charge of an electron. So charge is also not continuous. Whatever we want, we can't produce. Same way, this concept was given that the radiations or the wave are not continuous. Whatever we want, we can't get energy. So they are in discrete order, not continuous. They are discrete, whatever. Or discrete order, okay. So they are just like energy packets. Now, each photon, energy of each photon is this is given by h nu, where x is Planck's constant. So its value is fixed. It does not depend on any other thing, material or so. Indirectly, it is same everywhere, and its value is 6.6 into 10 to the power minus. So 6.6, or if it is not another value, suppose sometimes 6.6364 it is given, then you have to use that one. Otherwise, this value will be. That means energy of each photon will depend on frequency. So this energy can be h nu, so this energy will be h nu, or it can be h c over lambda also, because c is nu lambda. So this is about photon. The rest mass of photon is 0. That means photon is having only energy. It has no mass when it is in position of rest. When it is moving, according to Einstein's mass energy relation, it will have some energy, some mass also. So what will be the equivalent mass when it is in, the velocity will be same as speed of light. Speed of photon equal to speed of light, or speed of whatever radiation we can say, speed of electromagnetic wave. So according to Einstein's mass energy relation, since we say this E is mc square, so what will be the equivalent mass of photon? This m will be E over c square. In place of E, you can write h nu, or we can write hc by lambda, whatever it is. What will be the momentum of the photon? Mass into velocity. So mass into velocity, and velocity is c only. So it is E over c. So it may be h nu over c, or it may be h over lambda. Photon is electrically neutral. That means it has got no charge. So it can easily pass, or it will pass undeviated in electric and magnetic field. That's why light is not deviating from its original path in due to electric or magnetic field. It goes undeviated in electric and magnetic field. So these are the some common properties of photon which we have to keep in mind. Especially what will be the mass, that is E over c square, what will be its momentum, what will be its energy. So energy is given by h nu or hc by lambda, mass is E over c square, momentum is h over lambda or E by c. This we will frequently use while solving the numerical. So this concept was given by Max Planck. Many other things are also given, but this is required to explain this photoelectric effect. So we have noted down this part which we require. So Einstein used this part or this concept to explain photoelectric effect. And by using this concept only, he was able to explain this phenomena, which is experimentally observed. But wave theory was not able to explain. So with photoelectric effect is explained by this concept only. Okay, using this Planck's quantum theory. So what was the things used was the wave is not continuous, it is discrete, like energy packets. And energy of each photon is h nu. Total energy of radiation can be given by this formula, where n is the total number of photons. If it is of only one wave, one frequency, if polychromatic light is there, then separately we have to calculate, as energy is scalar quantity. So what is the energy for this particular wavelength? What is the energy for that particular wavelength? So total energy we will calculate by adding. Number of photon striking may be of different number for different intensity of different frequency will be given. Intensity, as we know, energy by area into time, amount of energy striking per unit area per unit time. So according to this concept, it can be like this, where n we say it is a number of photons striking per unit area per unit time. That means this intensity will depend on number of photons striking. So by using this concept only, Einstein explained whatever the observed things are there. Those observed things are not able to explain by wave theory, so he assumed this one. This we call particle nature of wave. That is, wave is sometimes behaving like particle. This is proved by this photoelectric effect. So work function, that is the minimum energy required to emit a photoelectron from a metallic surface is known as this work function. So naturally this phi naught will be equal to, as we know, this energy is h nu. So this will be given by h nu naught like this. So phi naught will be h nu naught. Now Einstein assumed that the radiation is striking like particle, like different stones are striking the surface. So whatever energy is carried by this photon, when it strikes the electron, the energy is absorbed by the electron. And that is not stored. If energy of photon is more than the threshold frequency, work function, the photon will be emitted. If energy of photon is less than this threshold energy will be absorbed by and re-emitted suddenly. It will be transmitted or radiated. So energy is not absorbed by the, energy is not stored by the electron. That's why if photon is having that much energy, then electron will be emitted. If photon is having less energy than threshold, then photoelectrons are not emitted. It was assumed. It is not proved, theoretically or mathematically we can't prove. It was just based on that assumption only we can, or Einstein was able to explain this fact. So this energy of photon is absorbed by electrons. Each photon is striking one electron. If energy of photon is less than work function, or as we say, this is phi naught. Or we can say this h nu is less than h nu naught, or nu is less than nu naught. What will be? The energy is absorbed by the electron and transmitted. Energy is absorbed by electron and is radiated within no time. That is, energy is not stored. So what will be if the photon keep on striking? What will be as the energy is not stored? So energy of electron or electron will never get this much energy. So electron is not emitted. This was explained, or this way it was explained, the first experimental thing. Why metallic surface is not able to emit photoelectrons if frequency is less than threshold frequency. We keep on giving the light for 1 day, 5 days, but then also it is not emitted. So this is explained by this assumption. If energy of photon is more, photoelectrons are emitted. And what will be the kinetic energy? And kinetic energy of emitted photoelectron will be the incident energy, that is h nu minus phi naught. Energy of incident photon, out of that, this work function is the minimum energy required to liberate that, emit that electron, to eject or to take out that electron. So that much energy is used in taking out. So whatever extra energy will be, that will be the kinetic energy. So this will be the maximum kinetic energy, we can say. So maximum kinetic energy of this emitted photoelectron is this much. Now, the first experiment was giving that idea that number of photoelectrons is directly proportional to intensity. That is also explained by this fact. As we just now said, intensity is number of I is NH nu. N is what? Number of photons striking per unit area per unit time. And each photon is striking one electron. That means if number of photons striking on the area per unit time increases, naturally number of photoelectrons emitted will be increasing, provided this energy is more than threshold energy. So that fact is also expressed by this one. Now in this maximum kinetic energy, whatever energy difference is there, that is the maximum kinetic energy. So it depends on the energy of each photon. That's why it does not depend on the intensity, number of photon. So these are the things, or these are the facts by which we can explain, or the Einstein was able to explain this phenomenon. And he got Nobel Prize, I think in 1921, for this explanation only. The main creation was of Max Planck, but Einstein got Nobel Prize. He used that to explain this. Now, the photoelectric equation. That is, numericals we can solve by this equation only. So here it is used by this formula only. This is the fact. So maximum kinetic energy of emitted photon this is energy of incident photon minus work function. Now we can express in different form. Maximum kinetic energy directly sometimes will be given Ke max will be h nu minus phi naught, or it may be half mv max square. It can be hc over lambda minus hc over lambda naught, or it can be EVS, because maximum kinetic energy is given by the product of charge into stopping potential, charge of electron into stopping potential. So it can be this way also. H nu minus phi naught. So there are different ways. Sometimes momentum is given. The kinetic energy can be p square over 2m. So whatever the condition means, main concept is this one only. The kinetic energy of emitted photoelectron will be given by the difference. So it can be by h nu, or it can be hc over lambda, or sometimes directly it will be given. Energy of incident photon is 5 electron volt. So if this is given in 5 electron volt, this is also given in electron volt. Directly we'll subtract, we'll find kinetic energy in electron volt, and then finally you change in joule. That will be easier. Or if one is given electron volt, other is given joule, try to convert in 1 unit only. Okay. Now from this part, if we plot a graph, so from this graph, this equation only we are determining the value of Planck's constant. Planck's constant and work function. Experiment is not in our syllabus. Only we have to know by graphical method, means we will plot the graph. Experiment is what? Suppose this light is made incident on any that Milken's experiment is given in your book. So you can read that experiment. Now we concentrate on this one. So we got this expression. Suppose this we have got EVS is equal to H nu minus phi naught. So this Vs will be H nu minus phi naught over E. So as you know this graph, if we plot a graph, Vs versus frequency, what will be? Y equal to Mx plus C. That is a straight line. In place of Y, we are writing Vs. In place of M, we are getting H by E. In place of X, this is nu minus phi naught over E. So the graph will be straight line. The slope of this graph will be H by E, and y-intercept of the graph will be phi naught over E. So a graph is plotted. When we plot a graph, this Vs versus frequency. Suppose we are taking the frequency which is more than threshold frequency, less than threshold we can't take. So when you are getting this experiment may come, the value will be coming like this. 1 point here, second point here, third point here, maybe for different frequency when we measure stopping potential. Stopping potential means retarding. So this side negative. If we are getting this side, that means positive. It is stopping, it means retarding potential. So potential of anode is less than cathode. That is the meaning. So graph will come like a straight line. If you are plotting the graph for different metal, suppose this is metal A, another metal may be like this only, it will be parallel to each other. Because slope is H by E, which is same for all. It does not depend on the nature of metal. Nature of metal, this phi will depend. Work function will depend. So when this graph is produced back, what will be? It is coming at this point. That means this point will be phi naught over E. Magnitude you can see, because it is negative, y-intercept is negative. So this value will give phi naught over E. Now what will be the slope of this graph? Slope of this Vs versus frequency graph will be H over E. That means this H will be E times slope of Vs versus frequency graph. Now, what will be the value corresponding to this? Stopping potential is 0. This is 0. When h nu will be equal to phi naught. No? When Vs is 0, that means what? H nu by E minus phi naught over E. So this H nu is equal to phi naught. That means H nu is equal to H nu naught. So nu is equal to nu naught. That means this x-intercept will give threshold frequency of that particular metal. For different metal, threshold frequency will be different. For this one, suppose here it is, then this is phi naught dash over E. So from this graph, so many things we can find. What will be the threshold frequency of that particular metal? Because it is just emitted, and just emitted means it is not able to reach to the anode. So we will not get, practically we will not get. By producing this graph back, we can find the value of this nu naught. Work function also we can find by producing this graph back. Is it clear? So slope for different metal will be same, because slope depend only on Planck's constant and charge of electron. It is same for all, whether you are taking any alkali metal or you are taking zinc or any whatever you are taking, it will be same.